Hey, welcome back to Everything Money. We're glad you joined us again. As always, I'm here with Paul and Mo. I almost forgot their names. My name's Seth. We welcome you to the show. Paul, we've been doing some reaction videos of late. Some have been brutal. Some have been lovely. And today we're reacting to someone, you don't know this person at all. You've never seen this person before. We might have seen him in passing, but you have never watched his video. I'm certain of that. His name is Andrei Jikh. He's one of the four horsemen. So this is
what do you mean four horsemen?
Well, this is Graham Stephan.
Kevin, meet Kevin.
Meet Kevin. This is one of their teammates, and he's very jolly, Paul. I mean, these guys that sit in their room by themselves. I can't watch this without thinking.
I like that light behind him.
Yeah, he's got a cool little setup. You'll see. He's interesting. He's a former magician, Paul. So he's got some sleight of hand.
A little prestidigitation.
And Mo is here as well. Welcome, Mo.
Thank you.
You look stunning in those earbuds over there. All right, here we go, guys. You might really like this guy, Paul. He's going to talk about why Bitcoin is the best thing ever. Here we go.
I probably will not like him.
Okay, here we go.
Not another crypto video. I bet he's going to talk about Bitcoin again. So in today's video, once and for all, I want to prove to everyone that they were right. So just the other day, I was thinking, if I had to start from scratch, if I had cash, but I was wondering, what should I invest my money into? Stocks, real estate, cryptocurrency, specifically Bitcoin, what would be the fastest path to $1 million? Spoiler alert, the fastest way would be really if you could just pluck money out of thin air and you could just materialize it out of nowhere like that. That would be the fastest. But I realize not everybody wants to sell their souls.
Pretty cool, huh?
Keep going.
So the second fastest is to invest in Bitcoin. Now, I've seen a ton of videos talking about Bitcoin's price going to the moon, and they look at things like the logarithmic price patterns and stock to flow models, but that gets very complicated. So in today's video, I wanted to approach it from a different perspective and show you why I think if you want to become a millionaire, if that's something that you're into, that investing in Bitcoin is going to be the fastest path to getting you there, because there's something that's been really exciting that's been happening in Bitcoin, and it happened just this week, and no one's...
Let me preface this. This is from June 11th. If you want to pull up your how much Bitcoin was at the time, obviously the excitement over this, Mo, was a lot higher a month ago.
So June 11th, it was 35.5.
It's only down 10% since then.
Okay, let's keep going. But I forgot, Paul, that he had literally said, no, the Bitcoin lovers will say this has been the best investment over the past 10 years. Bitcoin has indeed been the best investment.
It's still up big from...
Yes.
From pennies.
Yes.
But I did not know if the quickest way, if you want to be a millionaire, he seems very adamant that you should just buy this and that'll be the quickest way. So,
well, he also didn't talk about how much capital you're starting with.
Of course.
Anyways,
he's really talking about it. So I'm excited. Let's get into it. Hi, my name is Andrei Jikh. Hope you're doing well. Come for the finance and stay for the $1 million video. All right.
You can do that, Paul. You could do that.
Let's talk about why Bitcoin is the fastest path to $1 million. But first, I just want to quickly say that this video is not a get-rich-quick scheme. I'm not
Wait a second. Wait a second.
Let him speak.
No, he literally said the fastest way to $1 million, and now he said this isn't a get-rich-quick scheme.
This is the definition of getting rich
Let him
quick.
finish.
Downloading my free ebook so you could buy my course. I'm not selling anything. The reason that I'm making this video is because I was inspired by the Bitcoin convention that I went to in Miami. And unfortunately, I didn't get to film any of it because I don't want to be that guy that's sticking his camera in people's faces. But if you didn't go, just know that you didn't miss much other than the cool people that went there and the awesome businesses that are being built on top of Bitcoin, and also this.
All right, I don't know what's...
Oh my Lord, that's awesome.
Yeah, that happened. So first, let's get into some quick and dirty math, and then we'll get into some really exciting things that have happened.
I see those happen at Charlie Munger and Warren Buffett's annual meetings.
All the time, yeah. Yeah. Isn't it funny when you go to I always love this. No matter what convention you go to, Mo, it's always the best people and just the best everything. It can be a gaming convention, a photography convention. It's always the best of the best. It's
when we have our convention, we're going to tell everybody you're the worst.
Yeah, that's right.
Looking at a video with Kevin O'Leary, who is one of the investors on the TV series hit show Shark Tank. And in his video, he was talking about how he thinks Bitcoin will beat the S&P 500 index by 400 basis points. And that really got me thinking.
Over what period of time?
Why do we use basis points? It's going to win by 400 basis points. You mean 4%? Yeah. Remember, the S&P 500 is one stock that represents 500 companies. So it's kind of a good measure or a proxy of the
well,
US
no, it's
stock
the SPY,
market,
not the S&P 500, but go on.
And that one stock is expected to give you a rate of return of around 7 to 10% per year. Now, Kevin thinks that Bitcoin will beat the S&P 500 by an additional 4%, giving us a rate of return of anywhere between 11 to 14%. Now, I agree with Kevin, and I think Bitcoin will beat stocks, but I disagree with him on how much, because I think he's being overly conservative. Realistically, I think Bitcoin will beat the S&P 500 by at least 9 to 10%. So twice as much as the S&P 500. And if I was to...
Are you okay,
Sick.
Paul?
How many years did he say?
No, he's saying definitely, because he's talking about the S&P return of 7 to 10%. That's the long-term returns.
So he's talking
So
about,
he's saying forever.
let's call it 100 years.
Forever.
I really put on my moon.
So
boy
Bitcoin is going to equate Warren Buffett's returns for the rest of the time.
That's right.
Even after it's regulated.
Let's see if that's what he means.
Bitcoin will reach $500,000 per coin.
Didn't I say that on the morning show?
Of this decade. And let's just imagine you bought one whole Bitcoin at $37,000. And let's assume that 9 years from today, at the exact same time, that one Bitcoin became worth $500,000. That is a rate of return of 1,251%.
No, it's not.
Now, if you
that is a return of 1,251%. The rate of return is the annualized return. So again, I'm being very picky here. I am being picky, so I'm not trying to pick on that one, but rate of return is how much you're getting per year. The return is 1,250 whatever percent. Go ahead.
Annualize that. Don't analyze numbers.
There you go.
Very different. If you annualize that, that's a rate of return of 33.5% per year, which is a little over triple that of the S&P 500. Now let's assume that instead of buying one Bitcoin, you bought two. That would make you a millionaire in this example by 2030. But let's imagine that instead of buying the two Bitcoins, you bought $74,000 worth, which is roughly the price of two Bitcoins today, into the S&P 500. When would you become a millionaire? In this case, you would become a millionaire in the year 2047, which is roughly 17 years after you would become a millionaire with Bitcoin. Now, I know if you're watching this video and you're not into Bitcoin, you're like, another Moon Boy prediction video. This guy's out of touch. He's going to lose all his money. So let me just break it down for you and tell you why I think what I think, because there's been some huge developments in Bitcoin recently that I
can't watch this anymore.
So what I don't like, Paul, I opened this with a very open mind and thought what he's talking about and he's going to get to is that we've talked about on this show. He's going to go into...
I want you to be open-minded. Gravity doesn't exist. Be open-minded to that.
So he says...
No, I want you to be open-minded. For everybody out there who talks about being open-minded, I'm not going to be open-minded to asinine statements. This is gravity. I don't care what happens, that will fall every single time. I'm not going to be open-minded to the fact that gravity does not exist.
So he said, regardless of your open-mindedness, Paul, he's saying that a value of anything, if the interest increases, and he's going to go into how a country...
And what if the interest doesn't increase?
Well, that's the whole point of this video is this seems like a nice guy, folks. And if you're following him, he is a very nice fellow. But it's the flippantness of how it's going to happen.
2000, the internet was literally changing the entire world. And 95% of the companies went to zero. And the internet changed the world.
He keeps on saying how...
Bitcoin is not changing the world.
Beyond that, Paul, he just keeps saying how there's no plausible way this won't happen. It's either going to be one way it's going to happen,
you look at history,
or the other.
Times of most optimism are the worst times to put your money in something. This is literally the antithesis of investing. I don't need to watch any further.
Paul, we have to, or you're going to get grilled. We have to keep going.
It's 1:21. We got a live stream in 40 minutes.
They're going to appreciate this video.
The biggest piece of news that crypto has ever had, and believe it or not, it happened just this week.
A month ago.
And this is something that's
6
bigger
weeks
than
ago.
the issuance of bonds on the Ethereum blockchain, bigger than Elon and Tesla buying Bitcoin, and no one is talking about
Everybody
it.
was talking about
Something I
it.
recently mentioned on the Millennial Money podcast, which is what could happen to Bitcoin if a country outside of the regular financial system of using currencies like the dollar, the yen, the British pound, the euro, what would happen to Bitcoin if one of those countries adopted Bitcoin as one of its national currencies.
Like Venezuela?
It happened at the Bitcoin conference because the first country to ever adopt Bitcoin as a national currency, drum roll, was El Salvador.
Oh yeah, El
President
Salvador.
Nayib Bukele, Mr. B, announced that the citizens of El Salvador will finally be able to buy, sell, denominate in, and pay their taxes.
This is the biggest news to ever happen to Bitcoin, as he just said. This is the biggest thing to ever happen, El Salvador.
And by the way, it's better to start.
Paul, I did the same thing, and I know where you're going. He goes into all the numbers.
With Bitcoin. And the best part about it is that they won't pay any capital gains taxes on that money, which means
not
if you're
yet, of course, right?
Seth,
citizen of El Salvador.
Go ahead, Paul. Go ahead,
there's
Mo.
countries, we're going to take El Salvador being this big win for Bitcoin.
Yes.
Why
It's
don't
a
we look
start.
It's a start, but why don't we look at the countries that are against it? United States, getting there. China. All of these massive countries that are against them, you're not going to win with countries like
the two biggest economies, the two future fastest and biggest growing economies in the world, India and China, have already started blocking crypto.
He goes right into the numbers, Paul.
And you want to buy something at the grocery store with Bitcoin? Well, if it doubled in value since holding it and you just used it, you would not pay any taxes on those gains. All of that is huge. And this is more than just a proposal. This is a bill that was passed with a supermajority vote, and you'll be able to do all that as a citizen of El Salvador in just 3 months' time. This is massive, and here's why. El Salvador has a population of 6.5 million people. Imagine all the businesses that are gonna start using Bitcoin and start accepting it. And get this, of these 6.5 million people, roughly 70% of them don't have a bank account. And if 1%
because they're wretchedly poor,
cap,
and now all of a sudden they're going to use Bitcoin,
and this is going to become this great thing because they know how to spend and this and that.
I'm not certain they're wretchedly poor. I mean, the poor
GDP,
have
to make GDP per capita. You ready?
While he's looking that up,
I can just calculate it.
Oh, okay.
It's 24.64 billion.
Well, I would
divided by
imagine
6.5 million.
I would imagine a lot of the top 1%ers.
$3,800 per person.
Okay, and I would imagine a lot of that is with some 1% people who own a lot of it, right? I mean, like,
what do you mean?
There's probably a lot of rich people that have a lot of the money and very little money.
Oh, exactly.
Let's keep going.
Gets invested into El Salvador can increase its GDP by something like 25%.
Where's that based? What's that based
huge.
on?
So not only does
hey, you know what? Let's say it's 100%.
And also, did he say that you don't pay taxes when you use Bitcoin?
He's saying if you buy Bitcoin at $37,000, it goes to $100,000, then you use it to buy $100,000 worth of stuff, you gain $63,000 bucks. You don't pay taxes on that. So the other thing is, guys, this is one of the biggest problems I have with people who pitch investments, and this is something that I get from even hedge funds. These super rich people, they make comments like this without any backing behind it. The most confusing. It's funny, whenever friends of mine ask me to meet with an investment guy because they're looking at investment, I start asking questions, and like clockwork, they always say, that went bad. That person had no idea what I was talking about. All I did was ask basic questions. How'd you get that number?
Yes.
Where'd you get that number? How'd you get that number? Where'd you get that number? It's amazing. If they just ask them questions and they'll falter. He just said by something like 25%. What's the reason? Give me a reason for it.
As a way of meaningfully saving money and increasing their net worth and their wealth.
The people without bank
accounts. It also gives the country a huge economic advantage that I think other countries will start to notice.
This is so amazing. It's literally like real estate in 2007, stocks in 2000, internet stocks in 2000, Nifty 50 in the early 70s. Every time there's a bubble, this is different. Forget about all the rules of the past. This is different. But you know what? I shouldn't listen to the best investor all the time who all say the 4 worst words to hear in investing is it's different this time.
It is.
That's all he's saying. And it's
if
different.
You're thinking to yourself, who cares about El Salvador?
Here you go.
It's not a major economic player. But that's exactly what people said when the first businesses, the tiny businesses of the world started accepting Bitcoin. People said, who cares? They won't make a dent. Wake me up when the first publicly traded companies start accepting Bitcoin and adding to their balance sheets, which is exactly.
And by the way, I'm sure there are people out there. I've asked my friends who have Bitcoin, have you ever used Bitcoin to buy something?
No.
Never.
Never.
You're probably out there watching going, well, my friends have. I've never met a single. And guess what? I have wealthy friends. They don't buy Bitcoin.
Over 3 years ago, it came out that Tesla was accepting Bitcoin for their cars. I bought my car. I went to the shop to pick it up and said, will you accept my Bitcoin? They said no. That was 3 years ago. They've been mumbling around with this. I'm mumbling as I say it.
And then they accepted it, and it was there for about a month, and they got rid of it.
Let's keep going.
Because of environmental issues.
Here we
Of
are
course
in
it was that.
2021, and Tesla, MicroStrategy, Twitter, Square, PayPal, and this is just one of the dominoes in a long line of dominoes that are going to start to fall as the world notices.
Until it runs into a brick wall like China and India.
You know what the big thing was 10 years ago? QR codes. I only started using QR codes recently because of the whole menu thing at restaurants. Because that was the next big thing. QR codes of the future. I remember being like, I don't want to scan something.
Yep.
They've made it easier to scan, but it was the big hype. You know how many times I got pitched on QR codes?
Come on.
More than cannabis.
More.
Tell me one company right now that changed the world because of QR codes. I'll wait.
Let's keep going.
Funny because the media really hasn't noticed and the price really hasn't moved. Although to be fair, if the media did publish this, they'd probably say something like money laundering scheme to fund drugs and
I love how he's blaming the media. Anyways.
I don't know. Maybe I'm just
He seems like
jaded.
such a nice guy.
But I really think that this is trillions upon trillions of dollars worth of potential that is going to flow into Bitcoin over the next decade. Here's a second path of getting there. This next part is a little tidbit fact that I picked up from Tyler Winklevoss from the Bitcoin conference, which is that there are 50,000 publicly traded companies in the world. Now, of those 50,000 companies, can you guess how many of them own Bitcoin on their balance sheet? Is it 10,000, 5,000, 1,000? You are the weakest link. Goodbye. It's actually 32 companies. 32 that own Bitcoin. That represents 0.064% of the world's corporations.
So his comment is,
which is
imagine when they start buying.
Yeah.
less than 1/10 of 1%.
You know what they'll say?
The
Why don't you just start their own crypto? That's what everybody else is doing. Start your own crypto. There's 5,000 cryptos out there. 6,000. There's some other that goes to 10,000 cryptos.
10,000,
How many are there?
Keep going.
Will that number go down or up over time? What happens to Bitcoin's price when 100 companies own it?
Pause.
What about 1,000?
You know what happens to Bitcoin's price, by the way, at 19% return over 50 years? Each coin is $222 million. How many coins are there?
They said they're going to cap out at 21 million coins. So
that is
4
million, billion, trillion, quadrillion, $4.7 quadrillion. Now, if the U.S. economy grows at 4% for the next 50 years, and it's currently at 22 trillion, it will be bigger than the U.S. economy by 3 times. Did that math go right? Yeah, 3 times. Nope, sorry, more than that. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3. Yeah, it's gonna be like 30 times larger than the U.S. economy. Okay.
Sounds legit.
30 times larger than the U.S. economy. 30, not 3. Even if you said 3, I'd be like, you're ridiculous. 30 times larger than the U.S. economy, according to his numbers right here. And if he tries to tell you, he literally said it's going to beat the market by 9%. It's going to double the market. The market does 10%. I put in 19%.
He said triple the market.
No, he said triple the
return, 30-something%.
No, I thought he said double them. I thought he said double. Either way, even at I'm just at doubling here. I'm doing a 19% return a year. And it's going to be 30 times larger than the U.S. economy in 50 years. So by the way, if the U.S. economy is 1/30 of Bitcoin, what's the world economy? What's the world economy now? What percentage of the U.S. of the world is the U.S. economy right now? Mm-hmm. So basically, he's saying Bitcoin will be larger than the world economy.
Let's keep going.
What about 10,000? What happens to the price?
This is completely lack of fundamentals. Just thinking about the logic behind it. That's like me coming out and saying, guys, I'm starting a car and I'm going to sell it for $10 million because people are going to love it. Well, what's your base on that one? It's just going to be such an amazing car. People are going to love it. That's it.
Beyond $500,000. And this is on top of the countries that are about to start buying. The next path is something that Kevin O'Leary talked about, which
Kevin O'Leary is an idiot, by the way.
Those evil money people that manipulate our stocks.
Kevin O'Leary is literally a moron.
See, not all hedge funds are bad.
Quote it now.
Most hedge funds are just made up of pools of money from mostly wealthy people. And if you wanted to be part of a hedge fund, all you have to do is have $1 million net worth and make over $200,000 a year. Oh, is that it? That money is then pulled together and invested by someone else. And hedge funds have access to a ton of money. In 2020 alone, it was reported that they have access to something like $3.8 trillion. So I think it's safe to assume that in 2021, they have a little over $4 trillion, which begs the question, why haven't they got into Bitcoin? Some have, but most haven't. And a lot of them have a ton of cash sitting on the sidelines waiting to be invested. And the reason why most have not jumped into Bitcoin is because of something called ESG. ESG stands for Environmental, Social, and Governance, and it's a way of rating investments based on how ethical and sustainable they are.
That is not the reason why.
Over 70% of hedge funds in the United States said by 2026 they would be invested in Bitcoin in some fashion, or in cryptocurrency in some fashion. The reason for that is because the government's going to step in by 2026 and then they will be invested in it. It won't be the Bitcoin cryptocurrency as we know it now. Hedge funds are not stupid.
Listen, I mean, I'm just trying to imagine myself. Well, there are a lot of stupid hedge funds out there. No, there are a lot of stupid hedge funds.
Well, they're not this stupid.
I don't know.
Are we done here? I actually made a video about this like 8 months ago, pleading Robinhood to please include this as a standard feature in their app. That way, we as investors know exactly the.
You're not an investor. Stop saying you're an investor. You're not an investor. You're a speculator. An investor is not what you're doing right now. I can't stand up and say, well, you're going to invest in crypto, or even real estate and stocks can be not invested in. If you don't buy with fundamentals and have an understanding of how you can lose money, it's not an investment.
Doesn't sound like you'll lose any money at all. It's not even brought up once.
Literally, guys, literally, I wish you would read articles from 2000 about how the internet was a sure thing.
They're not going to, Paul.
It was a sure thing, guys. And guess what? The internet actually did change the world. The internet literally changed the entire world.
Absolutely, of course. The
entire world. And 95, whatever percentage of the companies went to zero.
It's having on the environment. I even made a petition on change.org. We almost have 1,000 signatures, so I'd love it if you could help me out. I'll leave a link down in the description below the video.
Has he got an AP on?
ESG thing's been around for a while, and it wasn't until recently that it's become all the rage on Wall Street.
Sorry, Paul.
And the reason for that is because these hedge fund managers don't want to lose clients.
Exactly. Exactly the whole point. Hedge fund clients have career risks. They're going to follow the hype. And if you go look at the history of what happens when they follow the hype, it ends up being disastrous.
Want to have that finger pointed
It's so funny to me. When people sit there and tell me, like, this is why I get so upset. Paul, it's about the science. When we talk about global warming, it's about the science. Which, by the way, I believe in global warming. When people say follow the science, when we follow the data, which is science, on everything else in history
you're stupid and wrong.
Yeah, I'm stupid and wrong. I'm like, man, we just pick and choose which data matters.
Accuse them of not being good for the environment. So they don't want to lose clients. Another
that has nothing to do with it. And even the most liberal people in the world who love the environment, if you behind closed doors you say to them, this thing is going to kill it, but it might kill a couple of trees, you know what they're going to say? I'll take it. 100%. I've seen it 1,000 times.
Sovereign money funds, all of them have these committees or groups of people that
use
things like
this is an absolute excuse. Fast forward. This is an absolute excuse.
To list don't meet those.
This is just being said now because of what Elon Musk said. Can you pause it?
It'll be like unlock.
Sure, go ahead.
This is exactly, he's just going on this one because Elon Musk had the excuse of we don't want to accept Bitcoin because he talked about the environmental impact.
Okay.
That's it.
A new skill, corporate money. Oh, I get to make 200% yearly returns and invest in an asset that's ethical? Yes, please. So in a way, I'm actually really happy that Elon highlighted the problem of Bitcoin's mining because I think it's going to really help us get that kick in the butt to get us to the moon. Okay. And mayhaps in the future, Tesla found their own solution in the form of a solar panel that we can put inside our home where we can become sustainable, clean energy miners for Bitcoin. I'm not saying that's going to happen, but I can totally see how Elon can pull the ace out of the sleeve.
I'm not going to say that's going to happen, but you have no problem saying that Bitcoin is going to 500,000. Okay. The sad part is people look at history, recent history, as more important than long-term history. And recent history said Paul is wrong, we are right. And then when it goes the other way around, there's going to be excuses why that happened. Well, if the government hadn't stepped in. No, we told you the government was going to step in.
Not wearing sleeves. Now, all of these paths individually can take us to the multiple trillions of dollars or several $100,000 per Bitcoin, but together, easily over $1 million per Bitcoin. But either way, the best way I like to think about it is sort of like this. Remember, there's 42 million millionaires out there in this world, and there's not enough Bitcoin for each of them to own one. So if having $1 million net worth is something that you're into, then I think the answer is pretty obvious.
Oh, obvious. Obvious.
Las Vegas, and I'll show you how to card count Rain Man style.
Tim, this guy's
just kidding. Not financial advice. Don't do that. But I think it's pretty obvious that Bitcoin will outpace stocks, bonds, real estate, and everything
Obvious.
in between.
Please save this video.
When do I?
Because when it ends up happening, what's supposed to end up happening, I will have no mercy. I will have zero mercy. And these people should all go broke, and they should be arrested.
The sad part is if you have made it this far in this video, and you're very new to this, you're getting into investing as an older person. Paul, we have people joining our Patreon who are 60. Obviously, a lot of young people joined in this. If you type in anything, this will be on the first page of YouTube, like it's verbatim, like it's just, this is everyone's thoughts. This is exactly what's going to happen. It's on the first page of YouTube. It's not even hard to find.
You know, I like you said that. It's everyone's thoughts. That's what we need.
Subscriber count, Paul. Any guesses?
500,000.
Oh, no, I bet he's in the millions.
Yep. Andre has
1.65.
I've never heard of this guy in my life.
This is
that doesn't really matter.
just
Nobody's
very
talking about it.
standard thought process. So here it is. Isn't it upsetting, kind of?
Yeah, I typically don't get very annoyed during these. I just can't wait to take these off and be done.
This guy, this is one of the top guys out there. Everyone listens to him. And Paul, the video says 500,000 per Bitcoin. He just said 1 million. I mean, why stop? You know, Mo we make fun of this.
No,
on
he
the
didn't
show.
say. When did he say 1 million?
Just now.
He said 1 million. There aren't enough. No, I don't think he said that.
Okay.
Wearing sleeves. Now, all of these paths but either way, the best are into that. I think the answer is pretty obvious. Come to Las Vegas and I'll show you how to card count. I think it's pretty obvious that Bitcoin will outpace stocks, bonds, real estate, and everything in between.
I love it. It's pretty obvious.
When do I buy Bitcoin? Today, it's at 40,000. Yesterday, it was at 37,000. Last week, it was at 30. And I think the answer to that question is it doesn't matter.
No, it doesn't
as
matter.
long as you dollar cost average into it to reduce your stress, in the long term, while it may seem like it's a lot of money today, in the long term, in relation to where we're going, it's very little. Does that mean I will invest all my money into Bitcoin? Yes. No, of course not.
Why?
There's a lot of things I don't know that I don't know. There's a lot of risks that.
See, the thing is, he sits there and says it's pretty obvious.
But if it's obvious, why is there a risk?
If it's obvious, that's the thing. Like even.
This is where he cleans it up in the last. He cleans it up in the last minute of the video. I think.
I don't want to watch the rest.
This is where he tries to save himself. Also, he might be doubling back on himself.
I guess he
But
could say
either way,
obvious.
if becoming a millionaire is something that you really want to do, then I think becoming a millionaire is pretty much inevitable if you hold some Bitcoin. As always, don't forget to smash that like button.
So, all right, guys, that's our take. I don't know what to say anymore. I'm sorry if you listened to this and bought a bunch of. Hey guys, it's Seth. I had to cut in on this video. We just got done with a live stream at Paul's house, and I just had to close this up. You know, in the end, I know that was like a brutal sort of attack on somebody, and someone might say we're not nice, but in the end, I think what we want to do is educate that you don't have to listen to this guy. He makes it sound like it's so simplistic and easy to make millions of dollars in something that's volatile and risky. And if that doesn't speak to you, or that was the first video you found, we're kind of sad for you. Like, there are better ways, and every great investor has done it not like that. So, yeah, follow along with the show. We'll keep doing what we do. And maybe Bitcoin goes to $1 gajillion, but if it doesn't, you could be out a lot of money. So anyway, thanks for watching. See ya.